Good afternoon and welcome to the championship Wheaton Cup game between Moncton Black Tide and the PEI Mudmen. Division II Maritime Championship game. I'm Craig Inward and I'm here with Yves Pellerin. Looking forward to a fantastic game today, Yves.
Thank you. Great to be here. Well, I guess today it's a rematch of a couple years ago. The Black Tide came over 2-3 years ago to play the Mudmen. Very different team for the Black Tide from that year. I think we have 3 returnees from that starting lineup. The Mudmen look strong. A lot of the boys we saw this summer running around for the Spruce and for the Mudmen. Should be a good game.
Yeah, I know the whole island's jazzed about today. It's a very big day for Island Rugby. We're looking forward to not only this game, but following this game, the UPEI women are playing SMU here, and with a playoff position on the line. And following that is the big game of the day where the Mudmen Division I team is playing the Loyalists from Fredericton in the Caledonia Cup, which hasn't been on the island since 1955 when the Charlottetown Nomads were the victorious winners of in those days. And it's a huge thing for the island. There's been a lot of growth and development of island rugby over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's culminated in 2 really good men's sides here with the Mudmen.
No small feat, winning the A and the B side, same club. Very impressive for the Mudmen for sure.
Yeah, there's some great junior programs here. The high school program on the island is probably the largest participation sport within the high school, both for the men and the women. And there's some great coaches at the high school level that have really developed a playing level within the island community, and that's showing up on the field here with the Mudmen.
Let's talk about the starting lineups here and some of the boys we should be looking at.
Speaking with the Moncton coaches before the game, they were looking for their back line actually to step up and be the dominant player. And in fact, the Mudmen coaches validated that and saying that that's where they were looking to be most concerned about is the Moncton backline led by their fly half, Jesse McKay.
Jesse's a young player from Moncton. He's been part of the Spruce program, developing his skills. He's a good hard runner. The back line are going to be hard offense, defense kind of guys. Looking at the Mudmen, size and power, I think, is going to be a bit of an issue for the Black Tide. The Mudmen look very, very fit and very imposing, especially in that huddle there. PEI has always been a hard-nosed rugby type of group, so I know the Black Tide are ready for that kind of game. Mentally, you have to be ready to get into those rucks and get into those scrums. I guess we'll see early on in the game how the scrum holds up and how the pace of the game stays up.
Indeed. And speaking with the Mudmen coaches, they were looking for take that size in the scrum, and that's where they were looking to be dominant in the game, or that's their game plan anyways, is to focus up front, take the focus away from the Moncton backs, and they're looking for players such as James Coyle, who's a big, solid prop, really grown and made a difference in the last few years in island rugby. Actually, I think he's a New Brunswick boy originally, and new addition to the squad this year, Spencer Masiak from Calgary, who's moved to the island and has really made an impact for the Mudmen squad in the second row. And of course, stalwarts like Phil Gallant and Syl Duguay were also looking to dominate the game through some hard crashing. Looks like we're ready for the national anthems.
Could everyone please make a warm welcome for Lauren and Sophie Doyle as they sing the national anthem.
Right on. Thank you for that. It's always special to watch 30 grown men sing off key to the national anthem. It's always good to hear that before a game. Good on them.
I don't know if it's unique to rugby, but it's particular to rugby that virtually any game you'll find of any significance, the anthem is sung and the players often full-throatedly singing it massively off key.
Who do we have holding the whistle today? What's the situation over there?
Looks like Anthony Scott is the ref for the day.
Very experienced. We see him in a lot of provincial competitions, a lot of Super League stuff. Yep, very good.
Always fair.
And rugby is the type of game that never gets decided by the ref. The boys make the decision on who wins on the game, on the field. The ref is just there to keep the laws straight.
Indeed, that's one of the great things about rugby is the respect that both teams show for not only each other but for the ref. Indeed, like a lot of sports players will get upset with the ref, but at the end of the day, the ref never decides the game.
True. Damien Murphy, who's the new coach of the Black Tide, always says that if you're not winning by 15, you don't deserve to win. The ref should not have an influence on that game.
That would have negated most of my rugby career. I don't know how many games I won by 15, but those that we did, if I didn't win by 15, then I probably was a massive loser in my rugby career.
You know, they say there are no losers in sports, but half the teams always lose.
Well, there will be a winner and a loser after this game.
True.
The Wheaton Cup on the line, Division II Maritime Championships. Looks like we're ready for kickoff. We're having some technical difficulties. Alex Hall, affectionately nicknamed Meatball, is ready for a kickoff for the Mudmen. He's also doing some repairs to Anthony's mic.
All right, I think we're about ready to get underway here.
Notice the crowd's building. There's should be expecting quite a number of fans here today for the 3 games. Should be an Ironman award for the folks that stay for the entire
for all 3 games,
6 hours of rugby. If you are in town, you're in Charlottetown, you wanted to come down, we're at UPI Stadium. Big thanks to UPI for hosting everyone today. And we're ready to go. Lovely kick. Mudmen were up nice and hard, making that first up tackle. Box kick into, well, almost into touch. It's picked up nicely and out of bounds. Are the Mudmen ready for the throw-in? Looks like it's is that a prop? Ian Morrison taking the throw?
Jesse Wallner is throwing the throw.
Okay.
And that's Paul Larson up in the air. Good steal by the Mudmen.
Good leg drive.
Should be indicative of the game back and forth today. A lot of skill on the field. Don't let the B-side title of this game fool you. These guys are well educated and trained in rugby.
Indeed, even on the Mudmen, there's a lot of fluidity between the first and second team squads. So a lot of these players that are out here starting for the seconds will often participate and sub in and sometimes start even on the first division team depending on numbers available. Big John Murphy going in for a good crash ball. It's Donnie Sonny out to back line. Spencer Gallant crashing in the centers.
There's a penalty, offside, which is a very common penalty to have early on in the games. The refs like to set the tone and what they want to see and how the guys line up. For the people that don't know a whole lot about the laws of rugby, oftentimes on the tackle there's a little bit of a competition for the ball that's called a ruck, and then the 2 teams have to separate on that line. So if one team's on the other side, an offside is called, which was called over there, and then a penalty is given to the opposite team. So first line out for the Mudmen. Let's see what kind of setup they have. Very similar setup to the Black Tide. a 5-man lineup, which seems to be the go-to nowadays, the 5-man.
Yeah, 4 and 5-man lineouts seem to be the most common setups. Most teams like to have a trailing pack of forwards to participate off the quick ball from the lineout, crash up in the centers. I was watching the recent A games between Canada down in Uruguay right now, and I noticed that a lot of the South American teams are moving back to the 8-man lineouts. It's surprising that we're talking about it now, but seem to be that the objective there is to concentrate as many forwards as possible and open the field for the backs.
It's always fun to watch the international rugby, the new trends, the new plays. They always come out in those levels, and then we try to adapt them at this level here. So it's, oh, there we go.
Solid scrum from the Mudmen. That's one area that they were definitely looking to focus on today. And there's Spencer Goant, Tim Hawkins.
Seems to be an overlap.
Nice.
There you go.
Good quick ball out wide. Look for another crash up the middle.
Good tackle by Ben
backwards.
Lass, and good up defense. I think the Mudmen
There's
here are
Sil
trying to clean it
Duguay
up.
with a wonderful leg drive.
Black Tide having a bit of problems here with penalties, and
Like
like I said,
offside again.
offside twice in a row now. At this level, the referee will start giving out cards for things like offside. It really takes away from the play. Posts are called.
Indeed, and players will test refs early in the game just to see how far they can go with certain borderline action, shall we say. The ref's a key part to keeping the game flowing well in rugby. A well-ref game is where the ref's invisible.
True, true. And in rugby, you have laws. They're not rules, right? The ref will take the laws. They will use the laws to manage the game to the best of their abilities, but it's always up to the ref for these calls, to his discretion how to use them. And he's the law of that day, and whatever he says goes.
So Alex Hall with the kick now.
Looks like a 35-yard kick. It's
Nice
up,
kick. Could.
and that's
Oh,
good.
lovely.
That's good.
So it's 3-0 now for the Mudmen.
Again, a bit of rules for laws for the people watching that don't have a whole lot of rugby knowledge. In rugby, if you score points, you receive the kick back. So there's no disadvantage really to try to go for these points and these occasions. In rugby, you score a try, you score the kick, you get the ball back. In 15s at least. Sevens has its own set of laws. That's good deep kick.
Sevens is really rugby in name only, though.
True. The sport is changing to the point where it will become almost a completely different sport soon.
That's a good bollocking hard run by
Stu Cosman.
Stu Cosman.
A vet of many years, the old captain of the St. John Trojans, had a career change, moved to Moncton. Actually moved in a small town next to my hometown called Kokang, New Brunswick. And he's been part of the Black Tide for a lot of years. A big reason for the success of the Black Tide in the last 10 years. He's been the captain of the team. He's been the leader.
Lovely kick.
Lovely kick.
That's a good one of the things about rugby that often confounds people that are new to the sport is you're willing to give up possession of the ball in order to earn position on the field. So in this case, that was a good 60-meter, 50-meter kick. Moved the ball significantly deeper into the Mudman end. Even though the Moncton team isn't controlling the ball right now, they do own the field position. And that is a significant victory with a kick such as that.
Now, one of Moncton's strength in the regular season was the counter line-out jumps. Paul Arsenault is a very experienced rugby player, and he's able to read the play well. So they feel that defensively on the line-out, they still have a chance to recover that ball.
There was a lovely throw in there by Tristan Leclerc and a great run by Spencer Gallant. Good clearing kick from Mark Lloyd. That's an exit strategy where we're off of the line-out. The Mudmen were looking to get the ball in an advantageous position, and once again to earn that field position with a deep kick downfield.
Black Tide opting for a 5-man line-out again.
Nice steal by
Nice steal.
John Murphy.
Murphy was the captain of my U23 Spruce team this summer at the Eastern Nationals. A good hard player, a smart player, a very quiet leader. Played every minute as hard as he could possibly run. Good player, good person.
Yeah, and he believes in giving back to the game. He's still a young man, but he refs here on the island, and he's assistant coach at the high school level
with you
too. Yes, he coaches at the same high school I coach at.
Good look here at a scrum. Some people feel that the scrum is the structure of rugby that everybody knows, that the picture we kind of want to sell.
It's a defining feature of rugby union.
Oh, hands in the ruck. Hands in the ruck. Let's see what
So they're
Black
going
Tide
for
decides
points.
to do
What do you
here.
think? No, they're not. They're aggressive, going for the line out, and obviously we should expect to see a maul here. What do you think?
5-man maul. That'd be wise at this point. They have some good runners. We'll see what they do with that setup. You can do them all just to bring some defenders in.
Yeah,
like you said in the international, it's all about space now. So the more guys you draw into one spot, the more space you have outside. Let's see what they decide to do here. Oh. The old stick ball to Cody.
Oh,
Cody Glasner.
that was a lovely run.
Very nice.
I was concerned at first because he actually ran solo. He left his support behind.
True.
And I think that actually froze the defense a little bit. They were unsure what to expect. And
Kind of looked like a dummy
exploited
runner,
the
right?
hole. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cody's from Ontario, just joined the Black Tide a couple years ago. Has been a big piece. He joined the Spruce this summer in the New Brunswick Super League. The Maritime Super League. He was a big player there for those guys as well. Been developing his skills as he gets a little bit of age, up in the age there. So hard runner, good tackler. Knows a lot of the PEI boys. A lot of them intercross over the summer in different games and different leagues. So I think they all know who every guy on the other side is. So it's always fun to watch them play and how they react to those guys.
And that's one of the great things about rugby in general, and in particular here in the Maritimes, is the interconnectedness of all of the teams and all the players. Many of these players would play with and against each other over the years at both provincial, club levels, and then representing each other regionally. There's a lot of crossover as well. So there's a lot of these guys are very familiar with each other. And that kick was good. I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yes. Kick to Matt Wheaton of the Black Tide. Good recovery. He is the scrum half for that side.
Look for a kick. No.
Oh. Good counter rock. Beauty counter rock. Oh, and we have a penalty here.
That was Phil Gallant.
Offside.
President of the Mudmen. Longtime player. And tremendous supporter and voice for rugby on the island.
To reiterate, there's such a small rugby community that it is intertwined in so many ways. The presidents are still running, with the guys are still playing. The guys like you and me who can't play anymore. Well, you're still playing a bit of the gray rugby.
Once or twice a year, I drag my very unsightly body on the pitch.
And there's pictures to prove it.
Pictures that should be hidden from sight.
But we'll definitely make it to a slideshow at some point.
Without a doubt. Lovely,
the good little sneak
dummy.
there. Matt Wheaton, who usually plays flank for most teams he's playing on. He's a good ball runner.
It was a nice
it's always a
box
good
kick
option.
as well.
There you
Straight
go.
out,
That's
though.
straight out. So for the people at home, when you kick the ball straight out, the line out is where the ball was kicked from. Unless you're doing it from inside your 22, then that's the only exception to that rule. But if you kick the ball straight out, it's a bit of any sportsman they like to think about it, and the ball goes where it was kicked. So Mudmen lineouts, they've been very successful so far in the lineouts. They get very strong boosters, hard jumpers.
Once
There you
again,
go.
a beautiful ball from Tristan Leclerc.
Beauty.
Taken well by Jonathan Murphy. Mark Lloyd out to Tim Hawken.
Oh, that's a knock on.
Tim's also a force in the rugby community here on the island. longtime coach with the Three Oaks girls program, significant contributor to the development of rugby here on the island, and one of our top refs as well.
So out of the 60, 70 Mudmen registered players, how many of those guys would you say still give time to the high school programs? Yeah, either as a ref or as a
significant number. So we've almost all the coaches at both the women's and men's programs at the high school level are players, either current or former players within the Mudmen program, and our new women's club on the island, Charlottetown Rugby Football Club, which again has had a successful year this year. Both the first and second division Charlottetown women's program teams won the Atlantic Championships this year.
It's been a big year.
It has.
The work's paid off.
It has indeed.
All right, couple sequences here, a sloppy play here. Let's see if both sides can clean it up and give us a bit of more of a continuous play.
The game has been a bit choppy. There hasn't been a lot of flow. We've rarely seen more than 2 or 3 phases before there's been a breakdown or the refs blowing the game up.
That comes from a couple of things, like both defenses are very aggressive, so that generates some.
Spencer Gallant, lovely hard run.
Nice.
James Coyle.
You gotta love those big boys running the big boys.
I don't know what that's like.
Another good run there, smashing it up the center there, and then let's see what the backs can do.
The key here, as the Mudmen coaches were saying, is to maintain possession of the ball and get the nice quick ball out wide.
There we go. We've been able to see, I think this is a 6th, 7th phase there from the
Mudmen.
Mudmen.
This has been the longest phase of play in the whole game from either team.
And eventually this will open up holes. There is an overlap on the right there.
You'll see, though, it's been great defense from Moncton, because even though this is now probably in our 7th or 8th phase, they haven't moved the ball more than 1 meter or 2 from where they started. So they're just pounding it left and right, seeing if they can find a hole in that defense, and Moncton's been up to the task. And then finally, a nice penetrating kick.
Ooh, that's not a great play by Black Tie. That should have been recovered.
The ball go.
Oh, we got a whistle on the play. Let's see what the call is.
Looks like the players are ahead of the kick.
Kick or kick. A bit of rules for the people at home. When there is a kick, the kicker and anybody behind the kicker is onside. They can go and recover the ball. If you're standing in front of the kicker, you cannot move. You cannot be part of the play. So if you see a guy kicking a ball, anybody standing in front of them should not be moving. If there is movement, then there's a call. I'm not sure what the call was here. It was offside by Black Tide. You think we're going to go for points here?
No, they're going for field position.
There we go. Being down by 4 at the moment, trying to pop some points in early. That'll pay off big time later on in the game. That's a good kick.
Might be a little far out here to maul the ball. They're probably looking to get the ball quickly out into the back line. Looking to probably have a play out wide, would be my guess.
Oh, nice attempt. That's a knock-on from Black Tide. Let's see if there's an advantage. No advantage given.
The ref missed the knock-on.
Beautiful kick by Simon Delatre, a French import, I guess, if you want to get, with lack of a better word. Moved to Moncton to go to UDM, and he stayed. Found love in rugby and in life, and he stayed in Moncton.
Oh.
That's a hard break as a coach. You see the 9-10 pass not connecting. These guys are supposed to be your solid guys. Bit of a lapse there. I'm sure the guys will recover fine.
And this is one of those things we were talking about at the beginning of the game with regard to, the refs, like all of us, aren't perfect. So Anthony missed the knock-on in the line-out just there, and the result is 60 meters upfield, a knock-on from the Mudmen gets caught. But things like that tend to even out over the game.
It is extremely hard to ref. There you have one guy on the field. You have 30 guys. I did it as a volunteer a couple of times in training camp this year for university, and it is not an easy task. Oh.
That was a nice wrap attempt there. It's a beautiful, pulled the defender in nicely, but it was a bit of a knock-on the pass.
Frustration there by Matt Wheaton, who should have caught that ball. I guess we're back to a bit of a sloppy play. We had about 10 minutes there of a solid play. Let's see if the guys can bring it back here and give us a bit of good rugby. There's 23 minutes left in the half. We're about halfway through. I think the score is 7-3.
7-3.
Scrum packing down. I think the Mudmen have a slight size advantage. Let's see if they can take advantage of that as the day goes on.
Scrums have been pretty stable. They haven't been going down a lot, and the Moncton looks like they're taking it to the Mudmen.
Oh, that's a steal. Ben Last put his hands on it. Jesse Wallner with the ball.
That's an area of the game that the Mudmen were anticipating being able to leverage to their advantage, and it looks like Moncton has been up to the task again.
Advantage to Black Tide. I think it's going to be a high tackle. Things seem to be a bit harmless. Maybe he'll let it pass.
No. Moncton were looking for the whistle there.
There we go. There we go. Quick play. Cody sees a hole. Good defense. Good Sandor Salini. And there's a knock-on. Or a forward pass. Forward pass. Nice. Well, good call. Seen forward from here, so it must have been more obvious over there.
You don't see that often. You don't see that often at this level of rugby. They were 20 meters out, pretty much under the posts, and chose to go with a quick tap. That would have been almost a lay-down 3-point penalty kick. So obviously they felt they had an advantage out wide or through the centers.
Mm-hmm. As the level goes up, the chance to take a team by surprise goes down.
Yes.
Just because of the experience. So at this level, it is a wise decision to go for points. If you go for the quick ball, obviously the guys see something that they can take advantage. I think the Black Tie wants to give the ball to the backs as much as possible to get that offense going. Let's see, have a good kick here to Sandor in the wing. Kicked away the advantage, so the ball goes back to the Mudmen. I think it's worth mentioning that the PI 10 has a brother that's starting 10 on the A side.
Yes, indeed. And their father, Mike Lloyd, who's one of the coaches of the Mudmen team, is one of the founders of the current modern era of rugby on the island. A longtime coach at Charlottetown Rural High School and reintroduced rugby into the high school programs probably 35 years ago. And it's as a result of his efforts that you see the programs that we do have today on the island.
Well done. Well done.
So, yeah, both of his sons are starting 10s.
Yep. And I think they both played for UPI over the years.
Indeed,
I've been coaching Mount Allison University, and I've seen the boys run around my guys for a couple of years now, so they're very familiar faces. Let's see what the Mudmen can do here. They got an overlap, a couple guys moving the ball.
Nice,
there we
quick
go.
hands.
Oh, a little pinch by the winger there. That's not great defensively. Good tackle by Simon.
That was a very nice tackle out wide.
Crash to the big boys. Keep moving the ball. That's a good sequence of play. Oof.
Wow.
Jesse McKay. You got to hit the boys. You got to hit the big boys low. You can't expect to go chest to chest against these big boys. You got to take their legs out, form tackle. PI's looking good here. They're putting pressure. They've been advancing every phase. I'm really impressed with the PI rucking.
They're doing very well.
It's very effective. They don't throw a lot of guys in. The guys do their jobs when they get in there. They secure the ball. You have a lot of guys to the right of the 10 there. They can all assist in the next phase. That's really good fundamental rugby.
What you see a lot now in the wrecking aspect of the game, the team that generally takes the ball in will send in one or two players to secure that ball, And because the balls come out so quickly now in the modern game, moving the ball quickly out wide to try and gain advantage around the edges, his teams are not committing a huge amount of players to the counter ruck, to the defensive side, and they're immediately spreading out to try and defend against that quick ball out wide.
We just yellow card to Justin Steele from the Black Tide. Yellow card is a 10-minute sin bin, what we call.
What was the call?
I didn't see the motion for the call. I'm guessing it's something to do with their last ruck. Not necessarily at this point when the refs get fed up with the same thing over and over. They'll give a call to the guy that recently just did broke the law. I think it was coming in from the side for that one. Prove a point, clean up the rucks, yellow card, Black Tide are down one guy for 10 minutes. Now Justin is a lock, so they'll have to replace a lock. You still have to be able to scrum. Let's see who's, I would imagine probably Ben Lass, who's their 8-man, who was a lock for other clubs.
And that was a good kick again for Meatball.
7-6, if I'm not mistaken.
It is indeed.
7-6. All right, so the expectation of this being a good tight game is true so far. Good for the boys. Good for the boys.
Usually don't see a yellow card for sort of a team infraction like that unless there's been multiple warnings in advance. So my thought is that there was probably something particular about that incident that is it Justin Steele?
Good take. Good take by number 8.
Paul Charles. James Coyle, nice hard run. He's been a force today, both with the ball in hand and in his rucking ability.
Not just a big body, very agile. The way he goes into the contacts, he must be a hard guy to take down, as we've seen so far.
That was a nice attempt there of Spencer Gallant. He was looking to skip pass out wide to the wing, who did have some space in front of him. Unfortunately, he was just behind the player and a slight knock on.
All right, scrum down. Let's see what Black Tide decides to do here with a man short. They've decided to take their fullback, Will Taylor, and put him in at lock. Will is a very experienced Englishman. Played some rugby in England and came to Moncton with the family. And has been part of the club for a long
nice
time
8-man
now.
pick.
All right, good counter ruck. Ball was retained. Stu Cosman with a good run.
Nice switch.
Scissor with Simon. Very shifty player, good athlete. No gain at that point.
Nice
Oh,
step.
there we
That
go.
hole. Yes. Very Quade Cooper-esque there. He's just a slight dummy out to the centers. The C's parted, and just like Moses.
He didn't have 40 guys following him though.
Cross to the other side.
All right, so that adds to the lead of so it's 6 points now. I
So
think
it's 12-6. It should be now.
12-6 before the kick.
It's right under the posts.
And we're looking at about 14 minutes left in the half. Of course, the referee's clock is always slightly different than ours, so we'll see how close we get. Sometimes the halves feel like international cricket matches, and sometimes they feel a little short when it's cold.
That's right.
So we'll see how this one's played out.
I guess we've all played in games where we're thinking there's only a couple minutes left, and you turn to the ref and you say, how much longer, ref? And he goes 12 minutes, and you're like,
that's a lifetime. That's a whole lifetime left.
Pretty sure the half's already over.
Yeah.
Just.
It seems when you take the lead on a tight game, too, the time extends. All right, we got a sub. Oh, we got a bit of a vet coming in. Justin Ellis, who's been part of this club as a president, as the captain. He is starting flanker. The last time the Black Tide played, the Mudmen, he was a force to be reckoned with at flank. Seems ready to go. Played in a couple gray man games this summer.
Yes,
he says he's feeling great.
He apparently got the call late last night that he was going to be suiting up today. He's all nicely strapped
good chase
up.
tackle. The center there with the. He's a ref. Forget his name. He's a very good player. A very good ref. He's
Tim Hawken. And
there's his hand. Nice take there. Nice take.
Alex Hall. Low center gravity, hard to bring down.
Kind of what you want out of a rugby player.
Yes, you do.
A lot of times I get parents asking me, like, well, what kind of body type are you looking for rugby? And really, any body type.
All body types.
There are 15 people in the field. You have 15 different positions. There's a room for everybody on a rugby team, especially in the younger high school levels. Anybody can compete.
And that is certainly one of the great things about rugby union, the diversity of body types, the inclusiveness of the sport.
Good steal here after the knock on by Black Tie. Let's see what PI can make here. They're 35 meters out, pounding.
Nice.
It's been a very effective game of the old pound down the middle there. The Black Tide are having a hard time.
Yes.
They're defending, but the PI keeps moving forward. That's what you want to do. Oh, the offload attempt
Just
there.
small little things like that where, they're throwing the ball away and contact and some passes that aren't right on target. It's been sort of, I would say, has been the difference in the game. That the chances that Moncton has had, they've capitalized, and chances that the Mudmen have had, they've
let's see what they do here.
been intercepted by a small knock-on or a misstep here or there. Now, do they go for the points? Yes.
They're going for the points. Now, moving the ball after contact, it's a relatively new way to play rugby. New in about 10, 12 years. The French, the New Zealanders started bringing that to a more expansive, high level of athleticism to a game where people had to follow suit. The goal is to bring a tackler in and move the ball after the tackle. You eliminate that one player, and the next guy getting the ball can't be touched until he receives the ball. So it's a very effective way to create some offense. It's a kick.
Just wide.
Oh, it's
left.
just wide. That's
unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
There's certainly even the kicks that seem easy aren't easy in rugby. There's always the chance that you can miskick the ball, and you can't count on any points until you actually put them through the uprights.
There's a lot of similarities between rugby and life, and one of them is that nothing good in life comes easy.
That's true.
Right? All right, let's see what. Oh, good step there.
Nice.
Good little kick. Let's see what we can do. Stu Cosman. Ooh. Typical big boy, little boy collision going on them, both getting up.
It was also a great example of how in body size in rugby is trumped by technique every time.
All right, 2 knock-ons back to back. You often see the ref will do. There's a motion that the rugby players know where there's been 2 knock-ons. At that point, the ref's had enough of the foolishness, calls it down. We restart. Sometimes the refs will use that call as a settle down kind of mechanism. Like, okay, things are a little crazy now. We're gonna call a double knock-on, have a scrum down, and then restart. Great attacking position. Some rugby minds think that the scrum is the best attacking platform out of all of them. Yep. Which I would tend to agree. It concentrates a lot of people in one spot, the same as we're trying to do with lineouts internationally.
I would look for an 8-9 pick here. No.
Big drive. Oh, little sneak pop there. Good defense.
Bring the
good
fullback
ruck.
in.
Good on the backs.
Got
for
a
rucking that
flanker
ball
going into the fullback position.
Let's see how they reorganize here.
Steve McMillan on the offload.
Oh, there we go. That's
old man strength.
Old man strength, a lot of experience. Diving over the ball. That's not a great play at this moment. Let's see what the PI can do. And there's a try.
Big John Murphy. Lovely crash.
Lovely. And I think that's PI's first try.
First try.
Good. All right, we're on the board here. We got a good game going. That's good.
14-11 before the kick. I would say PUI's had the predominant possession of the ball today.
I think so. I think so.
First chance to hammer the ball over the line, and they were successful.
I mean, if you look at the black tie tries, they were all individual efforts, good runs.
Off set piece.
Exactly. So some predictions from before the game are being shown to be true, where the black tie are good runners, and the PI has been more of a systematic crashing the ball, spinning it, crashing, spinning it, getting some offense that way. So it's good to see that the scouting reports are accurate.
Scouting reports definitely come into the game. The talk was that the forwards on PEI would be their strength, and the backs on Moncton would be their strength.
All right, time on the clock, remaining in the half. We got about 6-7 minutes left in the half. Let's see what the Mudmen can bring back. We get a recover here. Anybody can recover the ball once it's kicked. It's only got to travel 10 meters. Once it's traveled 10 meters, anybody can recover that ball. That's a far kick to recover. Let's see if there's any strategy to that.
Moving the ball quickly across the field.
There we go.
Mark Lloyd with a deep kick.
Take by Paul Arsenault. Will Taylor, who's now back in the fullback position.
So that's Sil Duguay making the tackle out wide. Look for the ball to come wide with Moncton again.
Matt Wheaton.
Again,
sees a hole.
Nice hole in the centers. That's been the story of the day. Yep. That was a nice, again, it was just one step into almost a highway of openness between the centers there.
I've been to a couple of black tie trainings, and they work a lot on that, on the identifying the hole, making the decision to attack or to pass. As you can see, they're a very backs-oriented kind of team where they want to have that wide ball. They want to play. Not great being a forward in that kind of structure, because then there's a lot of running, and for the guys that have played forwards, the least amount of running is best. So for the black tie, the fitness has been a point to concentrate on, to make sure that they get around the field and support those backs.
Yeah. In a way, that's almost an old school approach to the game. There's a lot of modern systematic approaches to the game where the forwards are arrayed across the field in various sort of structures. You'll hear terms like 2-4-2 or 1-3-3-1, where the forwards are out arrayed with the backs, and that tends to lead to a fairly deliberate approach to the game, which takes some decision making out of it. And in what we're seeing here is that free-flowing, open back play that is very indicative of a sort of an older approach to the game. It looks like it's slightly wide to the right.
You have to think that these missed kicks eventually will be a big factor in the end of the game.
Score now is 19-13 for Moncton.
19-13. Let's have a little time check here. Looking like 4 minutes left on my clock. Again, let's see what the kick will give. Let's see if they kick to recover with the pack that they have. There we go.
Very high ball here, trying to get underneath it. The ball should still be live. That was off the shin.
There we go. The old tuck and crash. The old tuck and crash. You got to love those boys. There's no other option. I'm going in. Let's see what happens. There we go. The old school rugby.
You'll note that the Mudmen were only sending one person into that counter run. Oh, his head.
Dex.
Bad luck on that bounce.
There we go.
There's long legs versus short legs.
Good, good run.
Yeah.
That gentleman there, Dexton Fox, played for UNB last night.
Wow.
for the UNB Mudmen, and then came down to PI and played for Black Tie. There's a lot of double up on that. I'm sure the Mudmen have a lot of UPI guys.
There's quite a number of the lads out there today that will be playing for UPI tomorrow.
Coaching Mountie for years, I recognize a lot of them. They're good hard rugby players. The UPI team is a very similar structure to this one. They're very hard. They're very passionate about the game.
That was just a bit of bad luck there. You know, with an oblong ball on a natural turf field, it's going to take bounces that are unpredictable. And
True. Unlucky, and unfortunately for these kinds of games, that can make a big difference. That unlucky ball.
Yeah.
Let's see how PI recovers. But being the Black Tide, I'm sure they welcome that kind of stuff. You always have some bad luck and good luck in a game. Like you said, it mostly evens out. But
one thing to look for in this game, I would think, is in the second half, the fitness level of the Moncton folks. I know that there's a good breadth of size and age on the Moncton team that may not be able to maintain the pace throughout the entire game. I'm sure that's what
good strike
PI is
by
counting on. That was a perfect line, just a little short. So we're at 24-13.
24-13. Back to the fitness comment. The game nowadays is all fitness.
Indeed.
It's all fitness. The days of coming in and running around just a little bit and getting ready for a game.
You mean
the game
your day and my
day?
day?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's why we're in the booth today and we're not down on the field. Oh, good take. Black Tide just turned over 2 balls over kickoffs. They're going to have to sort that out.
There should be a penalty there, perhaps, for off his feet in the ruck from the Black Tide number 8.
Good cut.
Yeah, Sil Duguay's also having a good, strong game.
Sil Dugay. Native Islander, is he?
Yes, indeed. Acadian.
Nice strong boys, eh? Nice strong boys. Oh, another penalty. Black Tide's penalties are going to start hurting them.
Yeah, Sil comes from a rugby family on the island. Both he and his brother play here with the Mudmen, and his sister plays for the CRFC and the UPI women's team as well.
Wow.
Sil is a newly minted teacher, and he's been a coach here on the island for the last few years as well.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
And he has
He's a very
awesome
skilled
hair.
rugby player. He looks very fit.
And he's got beautiful hair.
Yeah. If mine was that long, it wouldn't be that flowy.
Nice line out from
Look at that. Nice pass.
Mudman, Spencer Gallant,
Mudman.
Tim Hawken, back to Sil Dugay in a nice little wraparound.
There's a big overlap on the far side of the field.
Move the
Developing
ball
here.
out wide, looking to penetrate in the centers.
Good rock. Again, PI rocking solid. Retaining ball. Good tackle.
Oh, pretty sure the Moncton coaches will be very happy with their defensive play today.
This time. Let's see if the Bowmen can capitalize here with no time left. Oh, great on them. It was a 1 minute mark just before that. Good job.
It was a lovely cutback from the winger.
Great way for them to end the half. That's definitely a big leg up for them for the second half. A lot of boys would be happy with that. What do we have lined up for halftime entertainment?
I think it'll be a short break for us and allow the fans to go get a beer or a beverage of choice, shall we say.
Any beverage of choice is good. "40 minutes in today. It's been good. Not a whole lot of mistakes. Usually nerves get into play at this time of the year, whatever. But the guys are very seasoned by now. I mean, for the people that don't really know a lot about maritime rugby, there is some workouts going on in the wintertime. Guys get on the field around May. They've been running. They've been passing. So their skills are good. That's a great kick.
That's a beautiful
good
strike.
kick. That's going to make a difference. That's going to make a difference. I think that's half. There you go.
I think if you're looking back on the game, that could be the turning point. Well, folks, we'll take a few minutes break, and we'll see you back at the beginning of the second half.